बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वम् अरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत् स्मरणात् भवेत् हनुमत् स्मरणात् भवेत् बलबुद्धिविद्यादायक श्री आञ्जनेय पाहि मां हे यशोधैर्यप्रदायक जय वीरमारुति रक्ष मां बलबुद्धिविद्यादायक श्री आञ्जनेय पाहि मां हे यशोधैर्यप्रदायक जय वीरमारुति रक्ष मां बलबुद्धिविद्यादायक श्री आञ्जनेय पाहि मां हे निर्भयत्वप्रदायक जय वज्रङ्गी पाहि मां अरोगता वाक्पटुत्वं च दायक जय रक्ष मां हे निर्भयत्वप्रदायक जय वज्रङ्गी पाहि मां अरोगता वाक्पटुत्वं च दायक जय रक्ष मां बलबुद्धिविद्यादायक श्री आञ्जनेय पाहि मां हे यशोधैर्यप्रदायक जय वीरमारुति रक्ष मां बलबुद्धिविद्यादायक हे रामभक्तिदायक जय रामदूत पाहि मां हे रामभक्तिदायक हे रामभक्तिदायक जय रामदूत पाहि मां हे वायुकुमार पाहि मां जय वीरवानर रक्ष मां हे रामभक्तिदायक जय रामदूत पाहि मां हे वायुकुमार पाहि मां जय वीरवानर रक्ष मां बलबुद्धिविद्यादायक श्री आञ्जनेय पाहि मां हे यशोधैर्यप्रदायक जय वीरमारुति रक्ष मां बलबुद्धिविद्यादायक 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 श्री आञ्जनेय पाहि माम्।
Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Thank you so much, Pramodini ji, for that beautiful invocation. Pranams to Pujya Guruji, Swami Tejamayananda ji, Pujya Swami Swaroopananda ji, and all the sevaks, devotees and seekers watching this. Hari Om. On 25th December 2005, the Chinmaya Maruti Mandir was consecrated at Chinmaya Vibhuti Vision Center in Kolwan. Shri Chinmaya Maruti Bhagwan was installed, and in Pujya Guruji's words, he is our protector. 2 days ago, the 15th anniversary was celebrated with a beautiful puja for Hanumanji, for which devotees from around the world sent in their love in the form of offerings. The Chinmaya Vibhuti family offers heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you. The puja will be screened on the 2nd of January 2021 on Chinmaya channel at 9:30 a.m. India time, followed by a very special talk by Guruji Swami Tejumayananda ji. But first, the celebrations continue now. We are so grateful to Swami Swaroopananda ji for sharing his deeply inspiring devotional insights about Shri Hanuman ji via this series of talks titled Take the Giant Leap. When we meet Hanuman ji in Swamiji's talks, and there have been hundreds of them around the world, the experience is something else, and we look forward to hearing the stories again and again. What's more, we will also chant Hanuman Chalisa daily, today after the talk and from tomorrow onwards at 7:15 p.m. India time before the talk starts. Come, be a part of this yajna. If you would like to offer Yajman Seva and sponsor this series of talks, please look out for the slide at the end of today's talk after the Hanuman Chalisa chanting. As the new year beckons, I'm sure we're all eager to take a leap of devotion and service, just as our beloved Hanumanji did. Without further ado, I welcome Puja Swami Swaroopananda ji and all of you. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Hanuman. Hari Om.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी भरनौ रघुवर विमल जस जोदायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय। With the sacred dust of the lotus feet of my Shri Guru, I clean and purify the mirror of my mind, and then sing the pure, spotless glory of Hanumanji, by whose grace all the four goals of life can be easily achieved, whether it is wealth and prosperity, whether it is pleasures and joy, or a field or world of heaven, or even attain freedom, moksha, liberation from all our limitations. The very thought of Hanuman instills in us strength, courage, inspiration. He is the delight for the children. a motivator for the youth, a shining idol for a devotee, and for the wise, the most fascinating ideal. This is Hanuman. And even though in the form of a vanar, you cannot say monkey, but the missing link between the apes and the human beings. This son of Anjani, even from his childhood, his spirit, his energy, his strength was incomparable. Atulita Baladhama. Can you imagine? This little vanar, this little monkey-like, jumping from branch to branch, eating fruits and berries, but because of his energy, hungry and not satisfied with these small fruits and berries, looks out for something that can satiate his hunger, and looks up into the sky and sees the golden orb of the sun that looks like a delicious, juicy, big fruit to him. He not only desires it, but takes that giant leap to go across the sky to reach the sun. In fact, do not doubt, a child, when he wants something, it is amazing to see the strength as well as the enthusiasm with which the child dashes towards what he or she desires. Hanumanji not only desired the sun, but he took that giant leap to reach the sun. The story of the son of Anjani is very fascinating. He was about to go and devour the sun. That is the time he sees Rahu, the headless monster, about to devour the sun. Rahu mythically is pointed out as a head without the body, who, because his head was cut from his body, and Rahu and Ketu were separated from each other, and being pointed out during the churning of the ocean, that this was an asura in midst of the devata. So before the nectar could go down to make the negative forces invincible and eternal, Bhagwan chopped off the head of that asura, and Rahu, blaming that Surya and Chandrama, the sun and the moon, had pointed him out, took the boon that he would devour the sun and the moon. And that's how poetically, philosophically, it is pointed out that the eclipse takes place. In fact, it is that shadow that falls upon the sun that causes the eclipse. And that is what caused the darkness. But when Hanumanji saw Rahu devouring the sun, he came and fought with Rahu. Mighty Rahu, who looked like a serpent without a tail, in sheer panic went to the devatas that the sun is about to be devoured. And when the devatas came to see this mighty child trying to devour the sun, they came to stop him. But Hanuman, in his mischievous mood, looked at all these devatas with their various vehicles, those different animals, as toys to play. And Indra Devata, along with Airavat, the white elephant with many tusks, Hanumanji started playing with him. Hathi, Goda, Palaki, he started playing with him. Indra Devata was surprised at the might and power of this child. And in sheer panic, shot his missile, Vajra, the thunderbolt. The little son of Anjaneya, fell from the skies and to the earth. And all that happened, in spite of that fall, all that happened was that his chin was injured. In fact, he developed a cleft chin. And you know, men with cleft chin, how handsome they look. Hanuman got this name after he fell down. Hanuman, one who possesses or one who has a prominent chin. Hanuman also, that when he fell from the sky, and that Vajra that can destroy a planet could only cause a cleft chin for Hanuman, for the son of Anjani. That how mighty he is, and therefore, Jai Hanuman Jnana Guna Sagar. Hanuman itself means one who is mighty. Also, chin represents pride, arrogance. One whose chin is broken means one who is mighty and powerful to take the onslaught of Vajra, but at the same time is humble. When that child fell down, Marut, Pavan Devata, when he saw that the mighty Indra has shot the Vajra on that little Anjaneya, his Maruti, he was furious and he stopped the flow of air. Naturally, there was panic everywhere. All the devatas pleaded, and looking at his little son lying there, Pavan Devata said to all the devatas, then all of you bless my son with your unique mighty powers. Therefore, aur devata chitt na dharai, Hanumat se hi sarva sukha karai. That anything that we need, we do not have to invoke it from the mighty powers. It is available in this son of Pavan Devata, Pavana Sutta Hanuman. This story, as fantastic as it may sound, only shows that even a child has the capacity to take not just small little steps, but the small little steps of a little child can become a giant leap when aspires for something higher and noble. When we hear such stories, we generally laugh and think that how is it possible that these Indians, these Hindus, they believe in worshipping the sun, the moon, and and tell stories to their children, however inspiring it may be, tell fairy tales, but stories of the epics, these are myths. And how can anyone devour the sun? The great scientists of life, the philosophers, the meditators, the great rishis who knew even at that time the distance between the earth and the sun. And Tulsidas ji writes, Jug sahasra jo jana par bhanu lilyo tahi madhur falajanu. That it is not that the sun is at reach. They very well knew that sun is a gaseous mass where each inch is a nuclear explosion. But for a child and for people on earth, the greatest, mightiest, inspiring luminary is the sun. And children, they aspire for the sun, the moon, and the stars. These days, their heads are down on the tablet. But as children, we don't talk about mundane small gossips, etc. We want to reach out to the stars. We want to reach out to the galaxies. We want to reach out to the sun. And that is how that spirit of the child that makes him take the giant leap is if the child aspires to be inspired by the sun. And that is why our rishis in the Gayatri Mantra gave the ideal of the sun. While if most people worship the sun or aspire for high goals, Hanumanji did not just aspire, he actually took that giant leap to reach the sun. If we think that it is impossible, then let me tell you. 3 people met in the bar, American, Russian, and Indian. American was boasting of that in the late 1960s, we took man to the moon. We have stepped upon moon. The Russian said that we are going to reach Mars soon. They asked the Indian, and he said, we are planning to go to the sun. They both started laughing. But what is impossible for an ingenious Indian? They started laughing, but they were listening carefully in case he, from his Indian knowledge traditions, is able to reveal something that they can immediately grasp and maybe patent it. So they said, how are you going to reach the sun? And he confidently said, we have found a way. They said, but how? It's a gaseous mass full of energy and radiation. By the time you reach beautiful Venus, you will not only be burnt to ashes, you will evaporate. He said, we know how to reach there. They said, how? He said, we will go there at night. But jokes apart, sun represents that cause of this world, from whom this world has come, by whom this world is sustained, and in whom this world dissolves, and therefore represents the Parabrahma Paramatma. It is a substratum of the entire universe. And really speaking, it is the pure mind of the child that aspires to know God, to gain God, whether it's a Prahlad or a Dhruva or Anjaneya. Hanuman, he aspired to reach the highest goal. And not only aspired, but gained it. In Hanuman Ashtakam, popularly known as Sankat Mochan, Hanuman Ashtakam, Goswami Tulsidas Ji describes beautifully about Sankat Mochan Hanuman, one who can free us from all difficulties, problems, etc. For not only he has the solution, but he has the strength, the ability, and the compassion to remove our sorrows. And we can see the greater significance of not only the might of Hanumanji and what is required in life to achieve higher goals, as well as to end our sorrows, problems, difficulties. Goswami Tulsidas Ji says, Bal samay rabhi bakshi liyo tab tinahu lok bhayo andiyaro ताहि सो त्रास भयो जग को यह संकट काहू सो जात न टारो देवन आरी करी बिनती तब छाड़ी दियो रवि कष्ट निवारो को नहीं जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो को नहीं जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो बाल समय रवि बख्शी लियो. As a child who reached out to the sun, not only attempted to devour the sun, but devoured the sun. Now you see, how did he devour the sun? Hanumanji, after being bestowed all the blessings by the devatas, that Hanumanji who sought the sun, inspired by the sun, knows that the sun is the seer of the entire universe, approached the sun to become his disciple. The sun said, I am constantly on the move. I am constantly on the move. I cannot stand for a second to teach you. And Hanumanji said, I will walk backwards and not stop you. Instruct me. And he got knowledge from Surya Devata himself. Because the sun is the greatest inspirer, the greatest teacher. And he grasped all this knowledge. Also, the greater significance, the cause of all our sorrows and problems is ignorance. And how did this ignorance come about? In the infinite, existence, consciousness, bliss. It can best be said, Bal samay rabi bakshi liyo. In a childlike play, as though the Supreme was covered by ignorance to project this entire universe. And when we live as individuals in this world of ignorance, in this world of darkness, breeding for ourselves all negativities, limitations, sorrows, Tinahu lok bhayo andiyaro, tahi so tras bhayo jagako. And what sorrows and difficulties came to the world. And they are the cause. Ignorance is the cause of our sorrow. But devana ani kari binati, tab chadi diyo ravi kashta nivaro. But devatas, when they came and pleaded, and devatas means those people with divine qualities. That Hanumanji grasped this knowledge of the truth, the reality, the infinitude. And whoever, whenever, with these divine qualities of vivek, vairagya, they call as daivi sampatti, discrimination, not only between right and wrong, but permanent and impermanent. Dispassion, mastery of the mind, shama, dhamma, mastery of the senses, uparama, to be steady in our duties and have the capacity to withdraw from distraction at will, easily. Titiksha, forbearance, not to be disturbed by the uncertainties of life and pinpricks of life. Firm faith in the means of knowledge, Guru and scriptures. And samadhan, single-pointedness of mind. Along with that, a burning aspiration to break the shackles of all our limitations and be ready immediately to take that giant leap to reach the highest, mumukshatvam. Those who have these qualities, and they, when they approached Hanumanji, chadi diyo ravi kashta nivaro, left the sun or led everyone to see the light and the glory of the sun and liberated them from all their sorrows. Therefore, one who could remove the sorrows of even the devatas, one who as a child took the giant leap to reach out to the highest, the infinite, and not only attempted but attained it. And so compassionate that ever ready to remove the sorrows and problems of everyone. Ko nahi janate hai jag mein kapi sankat mochan naam tiharo. Who does not know, O Kapi? And Kapi does not mean a monkey, but kam sukham pibati iti Kapi. Pi means one who drinks. And what does he drink? Kam Brahma Sukham. One who is reveling in the bliss of the infinite truth or reality. Kam is also in Vishnu Sahasranama the name of Lord Vishnu. One who is drunk in the love of Bhagwan Shri Ram is Kapi. And such men and women of realization who will never sit in one place like our great sages and saints, like our Gurudev, and go from place to place, imparting this knowledge, instilling this devotion, and removing the causes of our sorrows and demonstrating and motivating us to take that giant leap in our life. Don't sit back. Leap. Pavantanaya Sankata Harana Mangalamurati Rupa Rama Lakhan Sita Sahita Hridaya Basau Surabhupa Siyavar Ramachandra ki jai Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki jai Umapati Mahadev ki jai Bolo bhai sab santan ki jai. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raj Nij Man Mukur Sudhari Bharanau Raghuvar Vimal Jasu Jodayak Falachari Buddhihina Tanu Janike Sumiro Pavan Kumar Bala Buddhi Vidya Dehu Mohi Harahu Kales Vikar. जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति हूँ लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन वरण विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा बिराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महा जगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाए संजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीनी बहुत बढ़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई सहस वदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कभी कोबिद कही सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीना राम मिलाए राजपद दीना तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मेली मुख माही जलधि लांगी गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लयहि तुम्हारी शरणा तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपे, तीनों लोक हाँकते कापे, भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे, नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा, संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे, सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा, और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सो ही अमित जीवन फल पावे, चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा, है पर सिद्ध जगत उजियारा, साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे, अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता, राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा, तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे, अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई, और देवता चित्त न धरई, हनुमत से ही सर्व सुख करई, संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा, जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई, जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूटे ही बंदी महा सुख होई, जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा, तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, कीजे नाथ हृदय महडेरा, कीजे नाथ हृदय महडेरा, पवन तनय संकट हरण, मंगल मूर्ति रूप, राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसौ सुरभूप, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय, बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय।